But I think in general, not going to give Democrats advice. Americans need to listen to each other more, and politicians need to listen to their voters. And I think that there has been so much of focus grouping, and this is what campaign messengers say, and this is what this surrogate says. And people were screaming, it is the economy, it is the cost of living. Now, we could debate. Things are not good in the economy right now. Donald Trump has not fixed it. But I think that there was...
The guys are selling eggs for $3 a piece.
What I want to give George Clooney props for, and I'm always going to praise him for this, he was right. The country was saying, we may love Joe Biden. He is too old and you need someone else. If they had listened 6 months earlier, it might have been a different outcome.
You know, looking back is always easy to do.
Listen to the voters.
That ship has sailed.
But when 70% of voters are saying we have concerns about his age, just being like, you don't know, we know better, it just doesn't work. You have to listen to people.
Right. Okay, we'll be right back.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. So we got to talk about the Democrats who are now attacking voters for not liking the Democrats, right? For the fact that Democrats are in free fall and that voters overwhelmingly approve of the Trump administration and the agenda of the Trump administration, including DOGE, which is to cut out waste, fraud, and abuse from the government, something that Democrats desperately are trying to stop. But despite all this, even CNN is admitting that the electorate is now more Republican than Democrat. And this is the first time that this has happened in a long time. Like, we can legitimately say we are the majority, right? We are the majority in this country. Take a look.
What is going on here? Well, Donald Trump is doing his best Frank Sinatra interpretation or impersonation, going my way. Okay, Trump's net approval rating overall, look at this. He's at plus 3 points. He's been above water. He's been above water his entire second term, excuse me. Look among independents, though. He's way underwater. He's way underwater. He's at minus 10 points. Normally, you win independents. Therefore, you win the middle. But in fact, Trump is doing the exact opposite. He is winning overall, but losing among independents. And this looks an awful bit like what happened in the fall election, where, of course, Kamala Harris won among independents, but Donald Trump won overall. Trump is repeating this playbook, breaking history, doing poorly with independents, but doing considerably better than he did in term number one, overall being above water.
Okay, so what is the reason for this, that he's posting basically overall he's up, but you're seeing this, and what's the reason?
This makes no sense, you might think, but what's going on here? Well, first off, what's going on here is, remember in term one, there was all that big opposition of Donald Trump. Democrats hated him. Well, right now, Trump's net approval rating among Democrats is underwater, way underwater at minus 78 points. But the Trump base is consolidated behind the Republican president to an extent that we really did not necessarily see in term number one. Look at this. His net approval rating is plus 84 points. So more Republicans are behind Donald Trump than Democrats are opposed to Donald Trump, and that is lifting him up and giving him that positive net approval rating, despite the fact that he's losing among Democrats and losing among independents, Sarah.
So are there other groups in this that are making this, different? I mean, independents, Democrats, Republicans, isn't that everybody?
Yeah, that is everybody. But it's not just the margins that you post among these groups. It's what percentage of the electorate that they make up. And Donald Trump and the Republican Party has changed the electorate. What do I mean by that? Well, let's take a look at party identification, Democrats versus Republicans. You go back to 2017, 5 points more of the electorate was Democrats than Republicans. You go to 2021, when Joe Biden was starting out, look at that. 6 points more of the electorate was Democrats than Republicans. But look at what's happened in February of 2025. Look at this. Republicans, there are more Republicans in the electorate than there are Democrats. Republican plus 2. So Donald Trump and the Republicans have remade the electorate. They've turned some people over from being Democrats or independents to become Republicans. New folks have entered the electorate who are more Republican leaning. And so when you combine that with the fact that Republicans are really behind Donald Trump, all of a sudden you get a winning recipe whereby you break the normal rules of politics and give Donald Trump that positive net approval rating when he had pretty much a consistently negative one in term number one. As I said at the beginning, he's copying Frank Sinatra, doing it my way.
I just want to remark on how you have Meg the Stallion knees, because the fact that you could go that low.
I can go low.
Yeah.
I can go high. That's an Elon Musk.
He has no idea what I'm talking about right now with Meg the Stallion, but we will move on and send it over to Kate.
Yeah, so you seen that, you heard that. What is happening is that you have independents who have decided, you know what, I'm a Republican. And the Republicans overwhelmingly agree with President Trump, okay? This is why he has a net positive approval rating, although Democrats overwhelmingly disagree with him. And he is down -10 with independents. But again, the independents who are conservative / right-leaning have just switched over to Republican Party, right? They just become Republicans. So the independents that are left, they're more left-leaning, okay? And of course, they're probably not going to have a high opinion of President Trump. But still, I mean, these numbers are actually pretty good, historically speaking, for Republican, okay, and for President Trump. So the momentum is just continuing, right? It doesn't matter how much the mainstream liberal media, how much the Democrats attack President Trump. He is still getting stronger. And that is why you have some Democrats, like, for example, Ghetto Democrat Jasmine Crockett. She is now attacking the voters, right? She's calling voters callous and selfish for agreeing with President Trump and his agenda. Like, for example, she put out this tweet. She says, quote, "This is a problem that Democrats have had. We've significantly underestimated how callous and selfish some people are," right? Basically, if you voted for Trump over Joe Biden, then you're callous and selfish, right? We've truly wanted to believe in the general goodness of humanity, aka you're not a good person, right? You're a bad person. The fact that people are okay with losing their jobs and healthcare going into a Trump-induced recession. Again, this is not true. This is just blatantly false. The current state of the economy has nothing to do with President Trump and everything to do with Joe Biden and the Democrats. Not being saved militarily, medicinally, digitally, while flying, etc. Again, trying to blame plane crashes on President Trump, even though the plane crashes have absolutely nothing to do with the president at all. All in hopes that someone else will be hurt is wild. Actually, it's downright satanic. But this is where we are in this country. Yeah, so again, Democrats, instead of actually, I don't know, doing what the voters want Democrats to do, which is to become more moderate, right? To actually become a party of common sense. Okay? No. They're attacking the voters. They're attacking people who agree with Trump. In fact, Miss Jasmine Crockett was confronted on The View by Alyssa Fair Griffin, who actually asked a good question for once, which she basically explained that, hey, the Democrat Party voters want the Democrats to be more moderate, right? Their approval is tanking. What do you have to say to that? And her answer really is, it's a stunning answer, but not really, okay? When you understand that these individuals have absolutely zero clue. They're not in touch with the American people at all. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Well, I want to ask you about Democrats. You're obviously leading next generation voice in the Democratic Party. And while Trump is moving at this breakneck pace, it feels like signing all these EOs, doing these long-ranging press conferences in the Oval Office, Democrats seem to not be getting their footing on what the message and strategy is to push back. We think of the leaders chanting, "We will win," outside of Treasury, which was widely panned. You've talked about Democrats needing a branding overhaul. Are you satisfied with the approach so far, and what do they need to do to kind of get their mojo back?
You know what? I think that just like the rest of the world, we've got a bit of whiplash because for some people, even those that voted for him, they said, well, we've been here before. And we didn't fall apart the last time he was here, so we won't fall apart this time. And so I think that while we had the playbook right there for us, Project 2025, I still think that even some Democrats were like, oh, well, he's just going to do what he did last time. And he's not. World leaders are recognizing that he's not the same. I mean, he's 10 times worse. And imagine that. This is the guy that oversaw how many deaths during COVID, right? And now we had Ebola breakout. Now we've got measles breakout. Like this is bird flu because they were some of the other people that got fired.
USDA firings.
Yeah, no. And he's like, oh, well, wait a minute. Like this is just literally not even partisanship, in my opinion, at this point. This is incompetence. And I think that, no, seriously, it's incompetence. And I know earlier y'all were talking about bring back the Bushes. I'm with you, honey. Like, listen.
Gets to my next question, which is, for all of the criticisms that exist of Donald Trump, he right now has a 53% approval rating. It's higher than it's ever been. 70% believe that he's fulfilling his promises, and 45% believe Democrats should be more moderate. What do you take away? I think there's a lot to make of those numbers. What's your takeaway from that?
My takeaway is just like the election. We've got to do better at education. People don't understand, but you will understand when those hospitals in rural America start closing down even more. You will understand when you don't have your Social Security. You will understand when your Medicaid, your Medicare goes away. You will understand as planes continue to fall out of the sky. Soon you will understand why it's important to maybe have somebody that isn't loud and ridiculous, and maybe Sleepy Joe is what we wanted because we could at least sleep at night.
Yeah, that's the truth. Amen, child. She was upset by calling her a child. I mean, come on.
Yeah, we have a child collection if anybody wants to go to the clapback collection.
Our thanks to Congresswoman.
Wow. 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 The Democrats, they have no hope. They have no hope at all. If this is the best they got, right? If this is the future of the Democrat Party, they are done, okay? I mean, the irony here, this woman is talking about how, oh, the American people, maybe they should have voted for somebody that's loud and ridiculous. But this woman is loud and ridiculous, right? I mean, that's the perfect description of Jasmine Crockett. She's loud and ridiculous. Everything she just said was ridiculous. Imagine coming out here and say, well, maybe the American people should have stuck with Sleepy Joe, because at least we can sleep at night. I couldn't sleep at night under Joe Biden, right? I could sleep at night on him. I mean, we have wars breaking out, okay? You got out of control crime, open border, terrible economy. I think a lot of people had trouble sleeping at night under Joe Biden, right? I think a lot of people are actually sleeping better knowing that the country is in better hands, okay? But all she has is nothing but exaggeration and lies. Remember, this is the same woman that went on CNN and just flat out just lied to the American people. She told two lies, right? The first lie she told was that so-called black women are the most educated group of people in this country. That is a lie, right? That is an absolute lie, okay? A bald-faced lie. But she also lied about how 80% of the violent crime in this country is done by white supremacists. 80% of violent crime in this country comes from white supremacists. And CNN didn't correct her. Nobody corrected her. So now she's on The View, calling voters uneducated, lying, exaggerating, claiming that Social Security is going away, Medicaid is going away, planes are falling out of the sky because of Trump, blaming Biden's economy on Trump, because right now, this is Biden's economy, right? The next year and a half, and reasonably speaking, is Biden's economy, okay? In my book, right? That's the way I'm chalking it up, because that is how things work, right? That's generally how it works. Even when the Trump administration, even when they do pass an economic package, which they will, okay, they are claiming that they are going to give the largest tax cut to the middle class in the history of this country, which, you know, Democrats will find a way to oppose, right? They will oppose the billionaire waitresses having less taxes on their tips, right? That's what they'll oppose, right? They'll come out here and say the tax cuts were for the rich, right? Again, railing against working class people getting some relief, right? This is what they'll do, okay, because they're that dumb. But nothing that she says is true. The Democrats have defaulted to just flat out lie and try to blame everything that Biden did on Trump, right? The current state of the country, a lot of it is because of Joe Biden. President Trump hasn't had time to fix all of it, right? I mean, he's fixing the border right now. The border is the main thing, okay? And we've already seen the results under President Trump versus Biden, right? Significantly better, okay? But the economy is going to take time. And I'm hoping that the results when it comes to the economy are going to be much better as well, too, just like the border. But to sit here and try to blame the current state of the economy on President Trump, this woman is quite literally relying on people being ignorant, dumb, right? She's out here trying to talk to people who she believes are stupid, right? That's what she's doing. Because only a stupid person could listen to what Jasmine Crockett just said and say, yeah, that all sounds about right. Let's blame President Trump for plane crashes, even though none of the plane crashes have anything to do with President Trump, right? So, you know, it's just hilarious to me, because they're at the point now where they're just attacking the voters. They're saying, no, you're callous, you're selfish, you're a bad person, you're satanic, right? You're just not a good person if you support Trump. While the majority of the country supports Trump. So here you have Democrats basically attacking a majority of the country because the majority of the country does not agree with them. Instead of acknowledging that, yes, we are too far left, we are too radical, we are too progressive, we need to move back towards the center. No, it's actually the voters. The voters are the problem. And they think that this woman should be the future of the Democrat Party? She should be a leader? Possibly run for president? I hope she does. It is a guaranteed win. I promise you. If Jasmine Crockett is a future leader of the Democrats, if she's put out in front of the masses as the leader of the Democrat Party, they will never, ever, ever win another major election. Not at the national level. Not at the national level. So, you know, hey, if this is what they want to roll with, hey, let's just attack voters. Let's continue to gaslight and lie and exaggerate. Let's not rein in the excesses of this party, especially on social issues. If this is what they want to continue to do, be my guest. I'm just going to sit back and watch as the Democrats continue to crumble and implode. Again, you know, just when you think it couldn't get worse, it just gets worse every single day. There's just more bad news about what's happening to the Democrats. And a vast majority of it is self-inflicted. It's self-inflicted. Self-inflicted. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.